Title: She Called Me Nobody Until She Needed Me. For years, I was more of a father to Olivia than her real dad ever managed to be. Hi Reddit, I'm plus. When I met her mom, Sarah, Olivia was just 6. Her biological father, Mike, was barely in the picture, disappearing more often than not. From then on, I became the one who went to school conferences, helped with homework, stayed up late for science fair projects, and clapped through every dance recital. Our bond wasn't flawless, but I genuinely thought we had a decent relationship. Then the teenage years hit, like a storm. At 16, Olivia changed overnight. Suddenly, I couldn't say anything without sparking an eye roll or some snide comment. It all came to a head one evening during dinner. I reminded her of a simple house rule: no phones at the table. What should have been a minor disagreement spiraled into a full-blown argument. She stood up, face red with fury, and screamed, "You're not my real dad. You can't tell me what to do. You're nothing. You're nobody to me." The words hit harder than I'd ever admit out loud. Still, I swallowed the sting and let it go. I told myself she was a teenager, and that this was just another phase. Sarah tried to reassure me. She didn't mean it, she insisted, but those words carved a deep mark I couldn't ignore. Fast forward to her senior year of high school. Olivia had gotten into her dream college. One evening, she and Sarah sat me down in the living room. Her dad and I were hoping you could help with the tuition, at least cover half, Sarah said gently, almost apologetically. I raised an eyebrow. Half? Sarah nodded. We can manage some, but it's a lot, and this means so much to her. I leaned back in my chair, arms crossed, and turned to Olivia. I think you should ask your real dad. The room fell into an eerie silence. Sarah's face turned ghostly white. Olivia looked stunned, like I just slapped her. What? She whispered. You were very clear, Olivia, I said. You told me I wasn't your father, that I meant nothing to you. So this nobody won't be paying for college. Her eyes welled up with tears. That was just anger. I didn't mean it. I shook my head. Maybe, but I won't be insulted in my own house and then expected to pull out my wallet when it's convenient. Sarah jumped in. Please don't do this. She was upset. She didn't know. Then maybe she should have thought before speaking. Actions come with consequences. Olivia stormed off, slamming her door. Sarah and I argued well into the night, but I didn't budge. If I wasn't her father when she was angry, then I wasn't going to be her bank when she was in need. Weeks passed. Olivia eventually reached out to Mike. At first, he ignored her messages. When he finally replied, it was to tell her he couldn't help financially. Reality struck her hard. One evening, she knocked on my door. Her eyes were puffy from crying. Can we talk? I nodded and let her in. She sat down across from me, wringing her hands nervously. I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it. You've always been there, and I took that for granted. I exhaled. I care about you, Olivia. I always have. But words matter. You can't treat people like they're disposable just because you're upset. She nodded slowly. I know. I just don't want to lose you. Not over this. I watched her for a while, then slid a folder across the table. This is a payment plan I put together. I'll help, but you need to contribute too. You have to take responsibility. Tears spilled as she nodded. Thank you. It wasn't some magical fix, but it was a start. And sometimes that's enough. Over the next few months, Olivia held up her end. She picked up a part-time job, applied for scholarships, and even cut down on unnecessary spending. The change was real, and I couldn't deny I was proud of her. One night, we were sitting in the living room when she spoke up. Dad called, she said softly. He wants to take me out to dinner before I leave for college. Her voice wavered with uncertainty. I nodded. That's good, isn't it? She fiddled with the sleeve of her sweater. I guess, but it feels off. He didn't help with anything. Barely replied to my messages. And now, he suddenly wants to spend time with me? She looked down. Feels like he's just here for the good parts. She was quiet for a while, then looked back at me. That's what I did to you, isn't it? I met her eyes. I think you're learning that real relationships aren't about who shows up when it's easy. They're about who stays when it's hard. She swallowed hard. I was horrible to you, and you still didn't walk away. I chuckled. Oh, I thought about it a few times. She smiled weakly, then grew serious again. I don't want to take you for granted ever again. I reached over and gave her shoulder a gentle squeeze. Then don't. She nodded, her expression full of quiet resolve. A few weeks later, when the car was packed for a college move, she wrapped her arms around me in a tight hug. Thank you, she whispered, for everything. And for the first time in a long while, I knew she truly meant it.